The zoning meeting to order. Stand to the pledge, please. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God.
Yes. Carlson here. Beach here. Madigan. Yes. Martinez.
Yes.
Turner's absent. Chairman McCarty.
Here. All right, announcements and correspondence. Howard.
Nothing new as of today, dealing with the application. Anything new is just me being here, first day.
Just like to introduce yourself to everybody again.
Yes.
As we have from public record.
Yes, my name is Howard Kapari. I'm the Community Development Director. I started today. Today's my first day, my first meeting. Trying to continue with what was submitted in time, so I'm trying to assist with the board tonight on this application, even though it was submitted by my predecessor, a staff report and what have you. I'm here to answer any questions or provide additional comment.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right. Move forward with the approval of December 4th, 2024 planning and zoning board meeting minutes as presented.
So moved.
We have a first,
Second.
second. Roll call.
Campbell. Yes. Carlson. Yes. Beach. Yes. Madigan. Yes. Martinez.
Yes.
Curry.
Yes. Okay, we have public comments. Is there anybody signed up down there? Pass them down. It has anything to do with something that's in something that's within the presentation tonight, then you don't have to come up and address us yet. It looks like this is all about.
Yeah, I can wait to do that.
Absolutely. All right. Old business. We have nothing. And new business, we have PZB 24-15 consideration of a request for a variance for an existing electronic message board sign at the existing Antioch Community High School campus located at the address commonly known as 1133 Main Street, PIN number 0217104006. Howard, would you like to run us through the paperwork that the village put together for us?
Yes, so there was a staff report that was submitted on or created on December 30th, 2024 by Michael Arian. So basically, he gave a background that, this applicant has come to the board in 2023 applying for special use and a variance, which were approved for like large sign area and to allow for an electronic message board. However, the minimum design standards were not approved at that time, were denied. The applicant is here again in submitting an application for a variation of color for the electronic message board. In the staff report, Michael spoke about the importance of, mentioning that all electronic message boards must incorporate a solid black background at all times with white and red lettering. Basically, that's what the variation tonight is for, to incorporate the school events in colors, incorporate graphics, pictures, and more illustrations. As part of the findings of fact by my predecessor, he spoke about the hazard and distraction on traffic on the village roadways as one of the factors for looking at this application in greater detail. Another thing is and being consistent. Similar application was approved for the United Methodist Church, but just for regular electronic message board, nothing with color or anything like that. So, setting a precedent or, going against the requirements, regulations of the municipality. So in the findings of fact, Mr. Garrigan speaks about, for the plight of the owner, the unique circumstance that operating an electronic message board on Main Street has been able to, you're still able to convey the message even though you don't have the color, the graphics. And what my predecessor also went into greater detail, that they incorporate text and messaging that is consistent with the current ordinance. So that's that. Again, under the findings, Mr. Garrigan speaks about if this is approved with the variation in place, then this would be setting a precedent for other people to do the same type of variation, where you have electronic message board that's going to have color, luminosity, distraction for traffic or motorist. So that's that. Mr. Garrigan did bring up in his findings that the municipality did receive several complaints about, from surrounding neighbors about the brightness of the sign and the original graphics. He also stated that there is the closest single family home is around 212 feet away from the sign. Again, he speaks about the brightness of the district's electronic message board. And again, he speaks about the negative, the distraction, and the negative precedent. The recommendation by staff, by Mr. Harrigan, was to ask for a denial for this variance because of the standards that we have here under the findings. In other words, to his rationale, they don't meet the unique standards for a variation because the sign is there, they're able to communicate their message to the public. It's just not in a more illustrative purpose, but it's there. That's the reason for the recommendation for denial.
Okay. Do we have anybody here from the high school who would like to speak to this fact?
Yes, sir. Jeff Boyd, Superintendent of the High School District.
Well, I can speak into the mic, please.
Oh, thank you.
State your name. This is a public hearing,
Yes, sir.
so I need to swear you in.
Okay.
Anybody wants to speak in regards to this application, please stand, raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, please state your name and your address so that we have the record.
Dr. Jeff Boyd, the Superintendent of Community High School District 117, 5127 Deep Lake Road is our office address.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Go right ahead.
Thank you. One question, I don't know if you can answer questions, but I'm curious about it did not meet the unique requirements of a variance. I'm curious about what the requirements are that we could meet. We certainly don't want to be contentious. Our issue would be that we feel like the sign can be more engaging with some simple colors and animations. I have a 40-second video that I can show the board if you give me permission of our other sign at Lakes High School in Lake Villa. I know that has nothing to do with this. It's a different municipality, but I just want to show you and demonstrate that it's not a disruptive demonstration. We're not going to have videos. It's just more engaging graphics and colors to really celebrate our students and highlight events.
Go ahead and show us.
Great. I would also say that we're also willing to post village news. So this would be an asset to the village as well. As the village has events, we'd be happy to share sign time throughout the day to promote Village of Antioch events, provided that they're appropriate for minors. Like we wouldn't be able to promote the wine walk or something like that. It's not appropriate for minors. So here's the video. It's only like 40 seconds. This is Lakes High School in Lake Villa.
Why don't we do this a couple times? Come over here and put it in front of these three so that they can see it. And we'll redo it over here so you guys can see
So you'll see instead of just the white letters on a black background, the art show has like some colors and splattering paint. The music concert, there's like some very rudimentary graphics of fireworks behind it. Different color for the board meeting just to indicate that the topic has changed. Eagle Pride, their colors at that school are blue, so you do a blue background and you do a red for when we do You Make a Difference breakfast at Antioch. Little Eagles Booster Club meeting with a different color. So I can repeat this, it's almost over here.
it. Yeah, we'll repeated for the.
So once again, we are not trying to sell products with salacious videos that are gonna make people rubberneck as they drive by or anything like that. But we would like to make our signs more engaging. It really celebrates the students and highlights the different events that we're trying to demonstrate. It embodies the purpose of each different announcement as opposed to just the white on black. Just driving around town, as I do a lot, because I work at both schools, obviously, I do see other colored signs in the community with some rudimentary graphics. I don't want to single anybody out, but I think if you can think of digital signs of different businesses in town, there's nothing like this that I would say is the same as this, but there are signs in town that have things more than just white letters on black background. So I guess my appeal to the board would be consider this as something that's only incrementally different than what we have now. It does not run at night. We can end this at 7 p.m. at night, so it's not disruptive to any residents that might be nearby.
Is it running presently past 7?
No, I believe it's off at 7 o'clock.
I think maybe the daylight savings might have
Affected something?
affected
Oh, is
it.
it past 7 now?
Mhm.
Did it
I think
start
it's
at
8.
Oh,
Mhm.
we can fix that. I apologize.
Okay.
So with that, I can take any questions.
All right, usually go around the board, so, Ms. Sanfilippo, you're up first.
We had a lot of questions when it came to us originally. And I don't think, Mr. Duke, you were here when it came before us originally. But, one of the questions I still have is like, and we had asked for some type of, a calendar or whatever of what events and what things you would be, you know, and how often that would be. And I don't think we've ever gotten that from the high school. So that was, I don't know if you have that tonight.
So we would like to run it all day during school hours, like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The idea is we want to increase awareness of everything that's happening at school. Like we have our 8th grade open house next Tuesday for the class of 2029. We want to get all our 8th grade families there. There are families that don't currently attend Antioch High School because their kids are at Augs. It might be their oldest daughter at Augs, and they didn't read the email from Augs, missed it somehow, and they're like, oh yeah, 9th grade open house is Tuesday, January 14th at Antioch High School. So we'd like to have that running all day. We could do that for your village events too. So important events that you want the community to be aware of, we can put those slides for village events right inside that rotating series of announcements. So to answer your question, we'd like to just run it constantly all day between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. if that's possible.
I think you were more directing towards how many events?
How many
do you have
events,
a
like,
year?
yeah,
How many-
my question, and maybe, forgive me if I wasn't clear, but how many different like messages, how often
Oh,
are you going to have these special messages up there? This is a question that our board had previously.
well, if you have unique requirements that we need to meet, we would certainly meet those. So if you say that we can only rotate it every 10 seconds or 15 seconds or 20 seconds, we would certainly meet that. As far as number of different events, I would say.
Throughout the academic year is what I'm talking about. Like, are we talking, you know, like Easter, I mean, Martin Luther King, every day you have, the school is closed, or, I mean, obviously, I have kids in the district,
Yes.
34, and the high school, and there's a lot of communication
Yes.
already coming to the parents. So I'm not sure that we need to have it on the sign,
Got it.
especially when we've had neighbors come in complaining
Got it.
about the sign. So,
So I think the answer is, I think it's usually between 6 and 8 different topics that rotate, if you look at my video sample. So you obviously don't want to have 50 things because then it's kind of
Yeah.
incoherent. We want to hit the same 6 or 8 things, but those get switched out every day or two as things fall off, right? So we'll have a reminder when there's a non-attendance day. We'll have a reminder to celebrate You Make a Difference Day, a reminder about an upcoming athletic event or accomplishment by a student. But when that athletic event falls off the calendar, when we get past that non-attendance day, obviously that would come off and we replace it with something else.
okay, so a lot of changing messages.
Yep. Thank you.
Ms. Carstensen?
I took some notes, so a little, this is, I guess, just, we've spent a lot of time developing the sign ordinance, and I'm sure you can appreciate that there's been a lot of precedent that's been set. And just for some context for some people who are newer to the board and for the public, we put a lot of time and effort into this because we have a vision for the community and we want to preserve that. I'm also open to progressive change if that's something that the village wants to do. But I am very adamant on not making an exception for one person if our ordinance says we do it this way, because we put so much time into that, right? You guys are a public entity as well, and you don't wanna waste taxpayer dollars doing something different than what was already set. Does that make sense? So what we had said is only public entities could use these signs, correct? And there were certain requirements that those signs had to meet, which is why we had referenced the Methodist Church. Did the library end up doing it? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yes, okay. The library did it, and then all of a sudden, a bunch of schools had these signs, and we didn't even know, and then they came in later. And so that's another challenge, right? If these signs are implemented and it didn't come before the board as well, because it seems like the time we invested in it also didn't matter. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna be a no for this because of the policies that we put in place and the time that we dedicated to that. And the feedback that we've gotten from residents.
I have a point of clarification, but you tell me when I can share that.
Sure.
The sign was approved when we first put it up, so the pedestal and the sign was approved when it was originally installed. Now, we replaced the sign last summer because it didn't work, our old one never worked in the rain, so.
And unfortunately did not happen.
Yeah, no, it was
not-
already installed
it was
before
installed
it came
before we
for us.
So,
100%.
Mhm.
okay, thank you. Oh, the other point of clarification I had, which might not be relevant at this point, but, we control what's on the sign through a cloud system, so it connects to the internet, so you would have access to that portal, so you'd see what's up there all the time, and it'd be no friction for you to add your village announcements either, you just put in a slide like a PowerPoint slide.
We appreciate that.
You wouldn't have to worry about anything inappropriate being up there, because you'd have the power to take it down.
We appreciate that involvement on the signs from our schools. It's pretty much so it's been allowed over the years previously, so that's been a good handshake, but all right, is there anything else you got?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Zubish.
Based off of the report that we received, since I was not on the board previously when this came up, I do see that there was comments about the brightness. I do see how those signs that you showed could be distracting, especially in that really tight area of the road. So I think I'm gonna have to agree with Brittany, Commissioner Carstensen, on her comments. That's all I have.
Okay, Ms. Madigan?
So, I think that it's great that you wanna get the message out there for everyone to see. I do think though that, depending on the type of graphics that are used, it is distracting. I drive by it at night and it just catches your eye. And I've driven by lakes as well. I think because theirs is in more of an open area and it's not as close to the road as at Antioch High School, I think that makes a difference. I feel like the sign in Antioch is larger than at Lakes, or maybe that's just because it's pushed back a little bit further, maybe it, gives that appearance, but,
I believe it's the same model. So.
I think that the way that the sign is today, I drove by on the way here, it didn't seem as bright, which I liked. So I really don't think that I'm gonna side with the yes for the variance, only because I think you can still get the message across with the way the sign is now, even to conform to our sign ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you'd be
A name.
Mr. Martinez.
I'd like to start off by saying that we, as a school district, you guys do a great job with communication via email, via Facebook, and these emails aren't just coming to me, they're coming, my daughter is on the high school and my son's in the middle school. because of the day and the era that we're in, you don't necessarily need this sign forecasting all the upcoming events for the next calendar week, next calendar month. And it's not really, my concern really isn't your sign. I wish we could do what you want. My concern is that as of right now, the current stats that IDOT here in Lake County give us is that there's roughly 12,000 vehicles going north and south through town on Route 83 up to Orchard Road, and about 15,000 daily cars going east and west on Route 173. Your sign is only a couple hundred feet from that, one of our biggest intersections here in the heart of town. And I know that maybe you can, maybe you can't. I can tell you this, because my daughter does go to school there is no cross guard, even though there is a police officer that more or less is on duty from 7 o'clock until about, I'm guessing 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. There's no cross guard. The kids are allowed to go out for lunch. The problem is that the kids don't go and use the crosswalks when they cross the McDonald's or Subway. They zigzag across the traffic all day long when they have the opportunity to do so. You also have young and experienced drivers that are using the school parking lot in and out. I hate to say it, but this looks to me as added distraction that we don't need. And because of that, I would say no.
Thank you. So my comments go towards everything we've done in the past and the scenario that was set forth with how we worked as a board. We did approve your size of your sign for that portion of the variance, but we did not approve the motion or the added graphics. The issue we have with the neighbors was the brightness. We didn't have anything to determine what the count was at their homes coming off that sign later at night, which is why we did limit you to 7 p.m., 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Those complaints were hard fought and well understood by this board. So very important. We do have residents right by the high school here. We don't have residents by lakes.
Yep.
It's got a field across the street and a cemetery. They're not too disturbed by this. So all of that known and what we've gone through throughout the entire process with our ordinance for the signage, and it's been painful to say the least. The board pretty much so knows where they're at with things. So I appreciate your input. Obviously, we would love to have some things on the sign from the village standpoint as just letters put up there, letting people know what's coming up with what we have going on, a parade date, homecoming parade, things like that to help out to keep the information for the public. But I think we'll move forward and go with the vote from here. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your input. Does anybody else have anything to say from the audience? Okay. Look for a motion to approve or deny the variances.
Motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Carson, seconds from Sanford.
Mish.
Mission, okay. Didn't see. Roll call.
Sanfilippo,
Yes.
Carstensen,
Yes.
Mish,
Yes.
Madigan.
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
McCarty.
Yes. Thank you very much for all your input. Hopefully we can continue working together very well with the school and the village. Looking for a motion to
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
Roll call. Aye.
Yes.
Thank you very much.